USL Super League action returns to Maimonides Park as Brooklyn FC host the Tampa Bay Sun. Mackenzie George has been tenacious and hard-working all season long for Brooklyn. She was rewarded with a goal last match. Tampa Bay Sun's Tash Flint has been on fire as of late with a goal in each of her last 2 matches. Brooklyn FC versus Tampa Bay Sun is coming up next. Brooklyn FC and Tampa Bay Sun meet with the unique backdrop of Coney Island and Maimonides Park. Brooklyn FC still searching for their first win at their historic new home. Jessica Chum and Gary Bailey, our entire crew, welcome you to USL Super League on Peacock. Now, Gary, this is the 4th and final meeting between these 2 teams, and Brooklyn FC have had most of the success in the matchup so far.
Brooklyn have done well, 2 wins and a draw. Last time out, Jade Moore scored the opening goal, and they couldn't stop Brooklyn coming back. Mackenzie Pluck with a fantastic strike from the edge of the box to level it up. Here it comes now. Good one in towards that far corner. What a brilliant score there. They certainly have had the better of it, have Brooklyn against Tampa Bay Sun.
But they find themselves in some rocky moments right now. For Brooklyn FC, they went into the full break deservedly top of the table, offered some great play, but they've hit a slump in form as of yet.
Certainly have, struggling to score goals. Look at that spring record, 2 goals versus the 4 record. Obviously a lot more games played in the 4 record, but you know, Jess Garziano has 4 goals, Luana Gravius 4, Mackenzie George 4, Dana Sheriff 3. They were just scoring for fun at one stage, and now they're really battling to get the ball in the back of the net.
Now, for Tampa Bay Sun, goals have been a real help lately, and it's because they've divided up their attack nicely among the 3 players here.
And they're 3 very good players as well. Tash Flint's got that sort of number 9 position, strong up front. Cecilia Flew is a really clever player, gets in good positions, and from the midfield, Carly Jamona guides things. So between the 3 of them, they're 3 players that Brooklyn FC will have to keep a very close eye on.
Let's dig a little deeper into Tash Flint. She brings a world of experience into Tampa Bay Sun's attack, and she's found herself in a great patch of form now.
This is the 89th minute equalizer we just saw, though, against McCann, but they went on to lose that match. That's the chip Carolina has sent. Just absolutely brilliant. She's been scoring good goals, and she's leading that line so well as a number 9. Good finisher. And again, just to make that same point, watch out, Brooklyn FC. Got to keep a close watch on her.
Well, Mackenzie George is a player that Brooklyn head coach Jess Silver has been extremely impressed with all season long. She says she deserved the moment of breaking the drought in front of frame last time out.
Yeah, she scored against DC Power, the 1-1 draw there. But not just that, she covered so much ground on the left-hand side, came out of like a full-back position, but ended up on the left wing, crossing balls in and scoring. A fantastic performance against DC Power.
Well, kickoff is just around the corner with Brooklyn FC hosting the Tampa Bay Sun. We can't wait to bring it to you here on Peacock.
Hearts. No 2 beat the same. So we built a team of the best heart surgeons, pioneers of the most modern techniques, who always find the one approach that's best for you. But while each surgery is unique, the outcome is the same: the highest success rates. NYU Langone Health.
We all have goals. But let's be honest, most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
I said what I said. I'd rather be famous instead.
Welcome back to Maimonides Park. Brooklyn FC host Tampa Bay Sun as Brooklyn searching for their first win at this historic new home. Jessica Charman, Gary Bailey, delighted you're here with us. We're going to dig into our starting lineups. First for head coach Denise Schulte-Brown. Tampa Bay Sun, a lot of changes.
4 changes to the team that lost to Spokane. Sydney Schneider starts in goals. Ashley Orcus on the bench. Jackie Simpson in defense. Jordan Listra comes in midfield. And Carly Jamona as well. And Victoria Haugen, Parker Goins, and Andrea Hoxdorf all on the bench. In what we think will be a 3-5-2 shape. But you never know with coaches. They change things as we go along. But we'll start with that.
It'll be interesting to see how those changes gel together. For head coach Jessica Silva. Brooklyn FC, just the one change today.
Yeah, one change is Leah Scarpelli coming in for Dana Sherritt. There's sort of a half change that Niku Purcell came on at half time for Sydney Martinez, who's injured. So if you look at it from that point, maybe 2 changes from the initial lineup, but you're 100% right, 1 change from the lineup that ended. Mackenzie George, they've got her as playing in the striker's role. She played as a left fullback, left midfield, so we don't know if that's going to happen or not. Phil Potts on her second full game. She was fantastic last time out on that left-hand side. So again, 3-5-2, that's how we think it will be.
Well, our referee for the action this afternoon is Stephanie McFarland. Will be Tampa Bay Sun in the yellow and orange jerseys from right to left. Brooklyn FC in the black from left to right. And with that, we are underway in the final meeting of Brooklyn FC and Tampa Bay Sun for the inaugural USL Super League season. Jessica Charman, Gary Bailey, our entire crew, delighted you're here with us on Peacock from Maimonides Park as we see a wayward early touch from Sydney Schneider in goal, making her USL Super League debut. Pickard tried to head it forward into Mackenzie George, and immediately noticing, Gary, Mackenzie George in a higher starting position than we've seen in recent weeks.
She's such a clever player, so good at able to get up and down that line or play it up front. And what they were saying about her performance last time out, Jess Silva mentioned the amount of ground she covered, the effort she put in. Said of all the players who was going to score, I thought it was going to be her just on the effort alone.
Here come Brooklyn FC. The driven cross is blocked off at the back of Bissett. Tampa Bay Sun will try to play their way out of trouble. Kroger recovers. Jess Silva has been telling us that she's been happy in moments with how her side has played. They just haven't been able to finish the chances that they've created. The elephant in the room has been opportunities have been made. The finishing has been lackluster. It
has been poor. No wins in the last 6 since that winter break. Scored 2, conceded 13. I mean, that, and beforehand they had 6 straight wins. So you're looking at it going, what changed in the winter break? And can you turn it around? And slowly they've got better and better. And of course, if they win this, they go clear at the top potentially. So it's not like they're in trouble. They're still in a great position in the league. It's just the form since the winter break ended has just been woeful by their very high standards.
And I loved when Jess Silva told us that is football. It's a learning lesson for these young pros. Luana Grabias takes an early strike and goes wayward, claims the deflection. Referee McFarland says no deflection there. It will be a goal kick.
Yes, Silva was just saying it's the ups and downs, and it's just part of the game, and you've got to go with it. And you'll get those in the course of a season. Fair enough, but as a coach, you want to get over it as quickly as possible. And right now, so they are desperate for a win, desperate to celebrate, desperate just to get back to that winning feeling again.
What a kick that is from Sydney Schneider. Schneider has 23 caps for the Jamaican national team, spent time under contract around a couple of NWSL clubs, but this a real opportunity for her to break into the professional game. Now Cello puts in the cross, it's headed away. On the volley, the strike goes wide.
Jade Moore just having an effort from the edge of the box. Nacella is one of my favorite players to watch. She's such a clever winger and wide player, very, very tricky and capable of creating good opportunities.
Here is Naucello getting into a big crunching challenge with Pickard, and then a nutmeg from Naucello, and she's pulled down by Mackenzie George. Just as you say, Gary, what a quality player she is, able to lure the foul and earn a free kick.
Tricky feet, and she gets in there and gets stuck in with the battle. Gets to the ball first. Nutmeg, does that count? on Mackenzie George.
It absolutely counts. She got back onto the end of it and drew a free kick. Give Narcello her praise there. Jade Moore will serve this one in. Kroger slides away. Mackenzie George heads it slightly further afield. It'll be back to Moore. Reverse pass from Moore. As Flint lays it back to Narcello. Pickard. And Kroger trying to connect. And then Luana Grabias onto the leftovers. Grabias with a good-looking switch. As Garziano to Philpotts. And Grace Philpotts, an interesting player, a new addition into this side, arriving from the University of Kentucky. Head coach Jess Silver told us she was very satisfied with the way that Philpotts has integrated herself into this squad.
Last match, she did so well on that left-hand side, connected with Mackenzie George, and they were a constant threat. So to settle that quickly, you know, and this is now only her second full match. It's very impressive there from Grace Philpotts.
And here's Denise Schulte-Brown, head coach for Tampa Bay Sun. Denise Schulte-Brown, a coach that just wants the best out of her players. And her side are yet to be able to pick up more than a point against Brooklyn FC, the lone draw in the spring season. They were defeated twice by Brooklyn in the fall.
And it's a strange run they're going through at the moment, Tampa Bay Sun. 1 win in 6, but 4 draws. So it's not terrible, but it's not good. You're not picking up the points you want to pick up and that Denise Schulte-Brown would love to get. But a win here today, and they're 1 point off the last playoff place held by Dallas Trinity. So they're in the hunt. It's just, you know, the clock's ticking, the games are getting fewer and fewer, and they need to get a good run going as soon as possible to Tampa Bay Sun.
Grabias, Garziano, driven cross into Mackenzie George. Great service. George lays it across the 6, gets it back. Mackenzie George strikes and a great save. Welcome to the USL Super League, Sydney Schneider. A fantastic diving save.
How good was Mackenzie George there, bombing down that right-hand side. We talked about it on the left last game. Now it's down the right. The pullback is spot on for Salma Amani. Just doesn't quite reach her. And then still from there, she puts one right in the corner. And you're right, Sydney Schneider, that full stretch. Brilliant fingertip round the post.
Not a bad first save in the USL Super League, but it will set up a corner kick. And the corner kick leaves a lot to be desired there. The apologetic hand up from Salma Amani as that one wasted. Select, the official match ball supplier of the USL Super League and many elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials and more. Select, the player's choice. And Gary, I wanted to revisit that set piece real quick because that's going to be an area Jess Silver will be concerned about. You have a corner kick, it goes straight into the side netting. That's a problem.
That's a waste of a good opportunity. The set pieces, you put them in the box. If they're not cleared at the first time of asking, they cause all sorts of problems. So you want everyone to count, and Jess Silver will know that it's a wasted opportunity, especially when it goes straight out and no one can get to it. But you know, it happens. The players have just got to get their eye in and warm up. Although to be fair, it's a sort of warming up you do before a game so that you are ready as soon as the whistle starts.
Stephanie McFarlane not happy with the positioning of that throw. Sydney Narcello will have to take this one slightly further back, and she does throw it into play now. Schneider. Jamona couldn't get there first. Jordan Listro was able to get it back. And now Tampa Bay Sun with a wayward pass to Kroger. Kroger, head down. Kroger drives the strike. It's blocked away. Brooklyn recover. Kroger trying to thread the ball to Philpotts. No nonsense clearance away. Sam Kroger, such a high-level player in this league.
Good player, pushing forward from that midfield, as is Garziano. Really clever around the fringes of the box.
Philpotts with a cheeky little flick forwards. You heard the crowd enjoyed that one. And how important, Gary, is it when you have a new home? Obviously, you weren't able to play with Maimonides Park early on in the season, to make sure you're able to get that victory on your home territory to set the tone.
Playing at home is always important. It just you get a natural feel for it. It's a crazy thing in soccer and probably other sports that you're better at home than away from home, and yet there's no actual physical advantage other than it's your place and you feel good about it. The difference with this and what could be an added benefit for Brooklyn is it's a turf pitch. Not easy to play on. The ball bounces a lot higher on a turf pitch in general than on grass. So once you get used to it as Brooklyn, you've got an advantage over all the teams who don't play on turf pitches.
And it was interesting in our conversation with assistant head coach for Tampa Bay Sun, Eric Licht. He told us that they had been working on some of the confined spaces, on the bounce of the ball. So they've clearly analyzed this field, the visitors, to realize that there may be some challenges, like you mentioned, Gary.
It was never my favorite playing on turf. It's better these days, of course. It's more similar to grass than it used to be, but still it bounces differently. You feel different when you slide tackle. There's just certain things about it that make it a very different thing to grass.
Here comes Mackenzie George, a cross in at the back post for Philpotts. And Grace Philpotts opens her account in the USL Super League with a tap in at the back post. Brooklyn FC go ahead.
Mackenzie George once again. She's the one on that right-hand side. Yeah, the fans appreciate what she did there in creating this opportunity, as she did last match. A bundle of energy, strength, power, gets away from her marker. The cross is really good, and it's not cleared at the first attempt, and Grace Philpotts is right on spot to finish it off. Poor defending at the far post, really, because they've got their first Tampa Bay Sun. You've got to get rid of that ball, and that's Paige who gets it under her feet somewhat. And Grace Philpotts punishes her for not clearing the ball.
And Jess Silver told us she was so impressed with Grace Philpotts and the way she's adjusted to life in Brooklyn. And there she reaps the well-deserved reward with a goal. And Brooklyn FC able to score in their last two games after the huge drought that they were in. Jess Silver said, I think once the first goal goes in, we're going to see more confident finishing, and that clearly transparent within the first 11 minutes of action.
It's been a problem for them last match. They had enough chances. Their XG was over 2, whereas their opponent's 0.79. So they created way more chances, ended up drawing the match. And so to your point, if they can be a little bit more clinical in front of goals, Brooklyn, they certainly have been creating the chances to score.
Tampa Bay Sun's assistant head coach told us that the goal would be to get the first goal. They've not been able to do that now. They wanted to make sure they got off to an early start to make Brooklyn FC nervous, to make them feel uncomfortable. How do you adjust now that you've gone behind of your Tampa Bay Sun?
I think first thing you do is you limit any further danger. Got to get on the ball. They haven't had much of the possession, and you can't really get Tash Flint into the game and Cecilia Flew and good players like that sitting in a cellar. You want them on the front foot, but all the time you don't have possession, you can't do that. So far, Brooklyn been very good at maintaining possession, moving it around, and getting Mackenzie George free on that right-hand side. They've got to stop that, Tampa Bay Sun. That's their first step.
Philpotts drove the cross into the defender. And Jamona, forward pass. And then a attempted big switch forward into the boots of Tash Flint, but a wayward pass.
That's the quality you have to get right if you're Tampa Bay Sun. That's got to reach Tash Flint. She was away down that right-hand side. Then you're on the front foot. You're throwing bodies forward. Brooklyn having to get back. A wayward pass like that. And now it's for Brooklyn to control the game from this throw-in.
And Tash Flint, you mentioned, in such great form with those 2 goals in back-to-back games. A striker with so much quality, but needs to find the service. She hasn't been able to have said service this afternoon.
think she was really upset last match. 89th minute equalizer. Clever finish from a quick free kick by Erica Timrak. And then in the last kick of the match, 93rd minute, Ali Cook with a great volley to win the match for Spokane Zephyr. And you could see Tash Flint was furious, because having dragged the team back to level, to see them then give away a losing goal 4 minutes later, that was frustrating for her.
Eric Light told us that from a coaching staff perspective, it was a good learning moment for the players to understand game management when you're able to pull yourself back into a game to avoid giving up a goal like that.
As a coach, you always say learning moments are always great, but learn in friendlies and learn in training. You don't want to be learning in matches, because that's when it costs you.
Scarpelli will throw this one into Grabias, trying to find an option in the corner flag. Page cleared it off of the body of Amani and out for a throw. Page's throw-in goes nowhere. It's been a real struggle for Tampa Bay Sun right now to find moments on the ball. Tash Flint all the way back to try and connect some passes.
Okay, just look at the impact of Mackenzie George, an assist for the goal. Has a great shot tipped round the post by Sydney Schneider.
Fleur looking for an option inside the box. The strike over the crossbar, but better from Tampa Bay Sun.
Absolutely better. At least it's an effort. It's a shot. It's not on target, which is frustrating. But at least it's on the front foot, trying to make something happen. Jordan Listro being a driving force from midfield, the Canadian. He's got a point to prove. Hasn't been a regular in recent times, so she'll want to have a really good game here today for Tampa Bay Sun.
We did mention the whole host of changes into the starting lineup for Tampa Bay Sun. Do you think some of this could be growing pains with different players on the pitch together?
Yeah, 4 changes, so it is a lot, but in goals, not so much perhaps. You know, goalkeepers don't really impact the outfield play that much, except when they're starting the move. So, you know, Jordan Listro coming in, Jamona and Jackie Simpson, those are the 3 outfield changes. But players are good enough to know they have to work together. It's not that they just haven't been able to move the ball around. Now, for the first time this match, we're getting to see something in terms of keeping possession from Tampa Bay Sun.
Chested down by Flo. And all the way back to Jackie Simpson. Simpson, one of those newcomers into the starting lineup. 5th game for Tampa Bay Sun. As her pass ended up at the boots of Amani. Amani with a big tackle, the Moroccan. And then Marcelo able to clean things up. Great move by Phil Potts. Phil Potts brimming with confidence after scoring her first USL Super League goal. Tried to lay the pass off. Looked like the offside flag would have been raised against Grabias. Phil Potts pounces. She's able to earn the throw.
That's giving possession away. There's good pressing from Brooklyn, but they were just given the ball there through that potential offside for Grabias, and then having got possession, they just gave it away again, Tampa Bay Sun. Put themselves under pressure.
Scarpelli. One of 2 changes into Jess Silva's starting lineup, including the goalkeeper switch from an injured Sydney Martinez. Grabias to Scarpelli. And then it's out of play. Interested in catching Brooklyn FC in action live at Maimonides Park? Scan the QR code on the screen for a chance to win 4 free tickets to Brooklyn's next home match versus Lexington Sporting on Saturday, April 19th. See you in Coney Island.
Just wondering there on Coney Island, which ride has a good view of the pitch? Could you be set up in one in the Big Dipper watching some of this game?
Could you relax and watch a game while on a roller coaster, Gary? You're a roller coaster guy?
No, I'm not.
Foul called in the center circle. And our first yellow card, early yellow card, is flashed. And it's Salma Armani into the referee's book. And that, a big call early on by our referee, Stephanie McFarland.
I'd like to see this again and just see if the ball was well gone by Armani. It's an early yellow to get, and in a part of the pitch where you don't have to win that tackle in the middle of the pitch, but the ball was well gone and it was fairly late, but still, if that's the standard the referee sets, fine, but then it has to be consistent.
It's interesting, a veteran player, Salma Armani, 35 years old, has played in a World Cup for Morocco in 2023 as Purcell, quick off her line. Perhaps Jess Silva will be a little frustrated that a player of that experience commits a foul when it didn't look like the play was going anywhere too fast.
Yeah, you've got to keep those yellows for when you need them, because now all she's got to do is mistime a tackle and it could be a second yellow off, and that changes the game. As a coach, it would drive me nuts to see cheap yellows being given away, because how many times have they come back to haunt someone later in a game?
Still never been a red card in USL Super League so far.
That's amazing. That's an amazing stat, really is. But every game I've seen is played with good spirit from the players to each other, which is it's just wonderful in women's football in general. How well spirited the games are. They're tough. And the coaching staff as well. It's always a joy to watch women's football from that point of view, because there's none of the silly nastiness that you get so much in men's football.
And far less of the flopping, might I add.
Yes, agreed. Far less. And also getting around the referees. Again, when you watch Super League, tricky.
Little giveaway there under the high press. Now Cello, square ball, gets it attempted on the 1-2 pass. Pickard reads it well.
Just to finish that point, when you watch Super League, they don't crowd them. They'll ask the referee, is that right or wrong? But they don't crowd around. Again, you get this in men's football, everyone around the ref screaming and shouting, even when they're not allowed to. They still do it. It's again, it's a pleasure to watch women's football.
Jamona with some tricky feet. Inside the box, a slide tackle goes down. It's scrappy. And in the end, our referee, Stephanie McFarland, makes the call.
Trying to figure out the call. Her hand went up for indirect free kick. So I didn't see the offside flag go in. Anyway, it was just a melee in there, so I think she decided to blow just to stop everyone falling over each other.
It was Jade Moore frustrated with the call. Niku Purcell hasn't been too busy so far. She won't mind that one bit. Purcell, one of the December Team of the Month picks.
Well, Brooklyn have got the most clean sheets, 8 to Tampa Bay's 4. They've got the most in the entire league, so they're good defensively.
Grabias with a great ball forward into Mackenzie George. George assessing. Mackenzie George hangs it up back post and it's headed clear. But Mackenzie George and Luana Grabias on fire right now, and you love to see them turn to that crowd and ask them to bring the energy.
And Mackenzie George has just been fabulous in this match so far, almost to the point where if you're Denise Schulte-Brown, you're thinking someone's got to get touch tight on her, almost man-for-man marking, because she's been down this right-hand side touchline, just creating one problem after another for Tampa Bay Sun.
Sam Kroger, the set-piece magician, getting ready to swing this one in. It's a crowded 6-yard box. Kroger drives this one low to the edge of the 6. Still alive as eventually cleared away.
It's another bad corner from Brooklyn FC.
Pickard trying to recycle it. It's given away as Flint. Rounding Philpotts, great move by Tash Flint. High pressure of Brooklyn, almost forcing the error, but now Cello able to tightrope the touchline. And a challenge comes in. Brooklyn FC will have the free kick. Carly Jamona called for the foul on Kroger.
It's good high pressing from Brooklyn FC. You've got to give them credit. They've made it very difficult for Tampa Bay Sun to work. out from the back. As you saw there, they were on the right-hand side with Tash Flynn. They moved the ball across the left-hand side. They were put under pressure, in particular Jackie Simpson. So her ball out wide to Nacella just didn't have quite the right weight on it. And eventually it's turnover ball and now a free kick. All that comes from exceptionally good high pressing from Jess Silver's side.
But to revisit your point, Gary, service needs to be very important here from Sam Kroger. We've seen 2 disappointing corners. This is a great opportunity from this area to serve something in.
Third time lucky, perhaps.
Sam Kroger. Kroger. So, less than powerful ball that is dealt with fairly simply by Tampa Bay Sun. Philpott's on defensive duty right now. As Jamona. And all the way over to Narcello. Narcello, first time ball forward for a streaming Listro. Listro doesn't have the legs to keep it in play.
Again, it was the high press that forced Narcello into a quick boot down the line and possession lost.
There is Narcello again. This time to Moore. Long boom forwards. And the touch, not perfect from Carly Jamona, but she gets it second time. Listro on the drop. And Listro tried to thread it through, but Summer Armani in the right place. Armani with some risky business with her back to goal. Summer Armani, an interesting character. Jess Silver said there's no one quite like her in the USL Super League. Plays with a different exotic flavor. You've seen moments of brilliance, but also some shaky moments in this first 25 minutes from her.
I spent most of her time in France at Dijon and Guingamp. 134 matches for Guingamp, the Moroccan international. So different style of play perhaps in France. More joie de vivre.
I don't speak French, Gary, I'm sorry.
As I said that, I'm thinking, I hope it's not a swear word. I think it means you play with passion or something.
J'adore. I think that's I love. Tampa Bay Sun with a more extended phase of possession. As I say that, a good read by Scarpelli to clear the ball forward to Grabias. Grabias, great move from Grabias. She's being pulled, but she stays up. Grabias has George, goes for goal herself. And last week, she had an opportunity that she should have perhaps taken a cleaner strike where she lost her footing. This time, the pass was on all day, every day to Mackenzie George.
It absolutely was. It's got to go to George. Now, she's done so well, Grabias, to pull all the defenders to her. It left Mackenzie George on her own, slipped the ball in. She puts her past the keeper. You go 2-0 up. That was a little bit greedy, having done the hard work, and brilliant hard work, by the way, Luana Grabias. She had beaten the players and drawn all the yellow shirts to her, and then just fluffed her lines in the last minute.
It was a highlight reel move to get the play started with that footwork, though. Grabias, a silky player with some Brazilian flair, is another long strike from distance. And Brooklyn FC a little rushing at the moment in some of those final third strikes.
A little worried, Jess Silver, because when you're 1-0 up and on top, you want to make it 2. You want to try and get a little bit of space between you and the opposition. Against DC Power, they went 1-0 up through Mackenzie George, only to concede later on in the match.
Kroger to George again. Mackenzie George is having a day. George, little chip forwards. A good win in the air by Garziano. Philpotts towards the corner. Good soccer IQ from Page just to send that one out for the throw versus the corner kick.
Just to finish that thought, 84th minute equalizer against DC Power, having been 1-0 up. So when you're 1-0 up, you want to get that second just to make sure you don't get mugged at the very end of the game.
Big boot away. Fleur, the target. And Flint has the runner, Fleur, ahead of her. Here is Fleur. And she does enough to earn a corner kick for Tampa Bay Sun.
Wonderful player, Cecilia Fleur. Really is. 6 goals, 2 assists in 14 matches. Yeah, we haven't even seen her this game yet because she thrives on service. She's so sharp in the 6-yard box, headers, whatever it is.
Corner is played towards the penalty spot. A volley and a gorgeous finish. Tash Flint is on fire. That's 3-3. And that one perhaps the best of the lot.
We're just saying you don't take your chances at the other end. You can be caught out, and that's exactly what's happened. But what a good finish, though. Gave Nico Purcell no chance whatsoever. It's a volley. I just wondered for a second if Tash Flint would control it first. Gets laid up here for her, but she just hits it. She just sticks her boot out and thumps it. Not even properly balanced, but so well done to put that in the corner with power, almost with the outside of her right boot. That's a fantastic finish.
Just can't keep Tash Flint off of the score sheet right now. That's 3-3 for the English forward. And you saw after that, the big huddle with Tash Flint leading the way. What do you think she's talking to her team about in that moment?
Don't do what you did last week and go from 1-1 and lose it 2-1. Keep it tight now, defend well. Let's build, let's get this win. 1 win in 6 is not enough, but as we said at the beginning, if they win here today, they'll be a point away from that last playoff spot, so they're right in the mix. It's a massive, massive game here today, especially for Tampa Bay Sun.
Still 15 minutes until the halftime whistle for either of these teams to try and get into prime position. Brooklyn FC will be frustrated. They've been pegged back, but you can't say they haven't had opportunities to grow their lead in this game.
I'll go back to that save from Sydney Schneider from Mackenzie George early on. It really was a good save. And they had that chance just a few minutes ago where Luana Grabias could have played it to Mackenzie George and didn't, as they could come back to haunt Brooklyn.
Amani to George. Couldn't quite get there ahead of the defending, and now Cello. It's given away. Kroger trying to spin through tackles. Phil Potts recovers. Fleur. Flint couldn't chest it down to herself. Pickard. Brooklyn just boom it forward, searching for Mackenzie George. Feels like Mackenzie George just stretches the field for Brooklyn FC in a different dynamic.
Well, certainly if you're Jackie Simpson, who's busy marking her down that side there, you're not going to push too far up because you're always worried about the ball over the top and Mackenzie George's pace.
Luana Grabias tried to chest that one down to Garziano. She stayed down. Brooklyn FC will continue to play. Armani to George. George cutting around the defender. Was blocked away. And Jackie Simpson did enough to cut the angle away from Mackenzie George.
A little moment there, I think, where Brooklyn FC were looking for a foul on the edge of the box. One of their players went down, pushed in the back, but referee didn't see it as a foul.
George again.
Got 3 players around her.
Mackenzie George hangs up the cross, diving header. Luana Grabias not far away from taking the lead for her Brooklyn FC.
I think there might be an injury here. There might have been a boot in the face. Let's hope she's okay. But again, Mackenzie George, 3, have a look at this. There's 3 yellow shirts around her. She gets a really good cross in at the near post. Oh, there's a shin in the head as they were getting up there. I think that's where the damage was done. But what a good ball in at the near post there.
Free kick called. Mackenzie George a little over the top. Interested in catching Brooklyn FC in action live at Maimonides Park? Scan the QR code on the screen for a chance to win 4 free tickets to Brooklyn FC's next home match against Lexington Sporting Club on Saturday, April 19th. See you in Coney Island. Schneider with the long kick forward. Certainly has quite the distance on those kicks we've seen so far. Simpson. Marcelo with a rare miscue on the touch. Gravias earns the free kick, and Luana Gravias is a player that you probably don't enjoy playing against, but love having her on your side.
She's had some wonderful games. Remember that hat-trick against DC Power back in November, where she was just unplayable.
Garziano sent that one forward, the first touch from Armani.
It's a bit of a wind there as well. I think we saw the ball hold up. It was very high in the air, and it just took a long time to drop down.
The Brooklyn weather a little bit different to the Tampa Bay sun.
I'm sure.
As Gravias heads it, Garziano is able to keep it. Here is Garziano, goes for the strike, and let's revisit what we talked about earlier about Brooklyn's finishing, and yet again that feels like one that's a little hasty with going for the strike.
Yeah, she hasn't caught it at all, has she? No power behind it, and it just basically trickles into Sydney Schneider. Were there better options on the edge of the box? Certainly, I'd always be looking for Mackenzie George. The way she's playing, I think you want to try and get the ball out to her as often as possible.
Pantuso with the big switch across. Phil Potts keeps it in. Phil Potts trying to earn something. In the end, she commits the foul.
I think this might be a hard area to fall onto there. Just trying to shield the ball, Paige.
Does look like Paige took quite the awkward fall as Phil Potts slid in.
She was just trying to shield the ball over the line for the goal kick, but tumbled into what looks like a much harder area of the ground, just where the turf ends.
There are 13km/h winds right now in Brooklyn. We are seeing the corner flags waving quite considerably, so
it seems that the wind is against Tampa Bay. Well, it's hard to judge from that flag, but I think that's judging by the way the ball moved, which means if it's with you second half, then you can bomb high balls up and create all sorts of panic in the air. So let's see if it has been an advantage for Brooklyn or not. We'll tell by the way Tampa Bay Sun play in the second half.
And I lied to you, by the way. I've now pulled a more accurate weather report based on those winds. It's 16 miles per hour winds right now, so that seems a lot more relevant. Folks braving the chilly weather at the moment. Simpson. Fleur, all the way back in her defensive third, takes a push to the back. Garziano gave Fleur a little bit of a shove there. In fact, it was Pantuso called for the free kick.
They've lost some momentum now, haven't they, Brooklyn? From 1-0 up and Mackenzie George creating havoc and having chances to go 2 or even 3-0 up. And when you consider the last few matches, they drew at DC Power when they were leading, but before that lost 3-0 at home to Dallas Trinity, lost 2-0 at home to Fort Lauderdale United. So they're in a really sticky patch, and they had a chance early on here to get a second and maybe even a third. And now at 1-1, you're looking at Tampa Bay Sun playing better and controlling the ball a lot better, and you're thinking, is this bad spell going to continue for Brooklyn FC?
Pantuso gets up for the header, but it's brave from Flint. Flint recovers, back to Moore. 2 Brits connecting. And it's shielded out, nicely done, and it'll be out for a goal kick for Niku Purcell. And as a former goalkeeper, Gary, how tough is it as a goalkeeper when you haven't had the opportunity to make many saves? Niku Purcell hasn't been busy today, but you've still had to pull the ball out the back of your net.
It's tough, and you just got to try and concentrate. You end up talking to your defenders even when they're 40 yards away and they can't hear you. You just got to find every which way, and especially if the wind's blowing and it's cold, you've got to keep yourself sharp and ready.
Flint, wind one. Winds up the strike come cross, and in the end goes out of play.
I think she had a picture in her mind of bending it into the top corner, but it didn't quite work out there for Tash Flint. You mentioned her and Jade Moore being from England. I don't think this cold weather bothers them because they'll be used to it. It might bother the rest who come from Tampa Bay.
I don't know, as an English soul that has got very used to the sunshine. The header goes out of play. Scarpelli watches it all the way. Garziano Couldn't settle. It's cleared away for a throw-in that Page will look to take fast. Jamona to Moore, who wound up the strike. Tash Flint. And Scarpelli sends it long. It's been a really rocky first half with momentum. It was all Brooklyn early on, and they did take the lead, deservedly so. But Tampa Bay Sun have really grown back in this game, Gary.
It might be a case of Tampa Bay Sun getting used to playing on turf. That could be part of it. It could be getting used to the weather. And of course, whenever you're away from home, it takes a few minutes to get used to the pitch. All those things might have had a factor. I think the biggest factor was Mackenzie George. She just kept beating Jackie Simpson down that right-hand side, getting crosses. They had 3 players on one occasion, and she got past them all and put a cross in. And now that they've sort of got at least 2 players on it every time she gets the ball, I think they've stopped that outlet, and they're struggling to find a new outlet, Brooklyn FC. Maybe Luana Grabias could be that person, but she had that one run and didn't play Mackenzie George in when possibly she could have done.
Scarpelli will loop this throw-in over. It's interesting to see Mackenzie George has switched to the left side of the field at the moment. Wonder if perhaps she's trying to attack a different defender, has become a little predictable.
And also, if they're double teaming you, then by going the other side, they have to figure out somebody else to double team, and then it sort of takes the defense a while to sort it out.
Smart adjustment for Brooklyn FC as the foul is called back. Kroger was fouled by Vivian Bissett.
Sorry, did I say the wind was against Tampa Bay? I think it's against Brooklyn. I think that's what I was meaning to say. I'm sorry if I got it wrong, because when Brooklyn knock high balls, they sort of hang in the air. That means the wind is against them, and it's behind the back of Tampa Bay Sun.
Here is a long lofted free kick. Schneider came, Schneider didn't get, and a strike over the crossbar. It was decent technique from Sama Armani. Wasn't too far for dipping for the game-leading goal.
She's got to hit target though. It's a great chance. She had one similar in the last match. After 6 minutes, 6 yards, gaping goal. She shot it over the bar there. It's almost an empty goal. Sydney Schneider's really battling to get back to cover the goal. You've got to hit target. That's another huge miss from Brooklyn FC.
Every Wednesday, listen to USL Super League Game Week, a deep dive into all things Super League with hosts Marion Crowder and Anna Whitty. Follow along all season on the SiriusXM app.
They're very good, Anna Whitty and Marion Crowder. Great to listen to. Recommend those who are fans of this league to tune in every week to them both.
New episodes dropping every Wednesday, so make sure you're tuning in on SiriusXM. Simpson.
So if you start to look at this first half, Mackenzie George has created a ton of chances. Sydney Schneider's made one good save. They've scored a goal from some bad defending by Tampa Bay Sun, it has to be said. They've had a chance moments ago for Salma Armani to have hit the back of the net. They've had other chances and opportunities, and yet Tampa Bay Sun have had one chance on the edge of the box. Tash Flint, brilliant strike, and it's 1-1. That has got to be so frustrating for Jess Silver.
Well, the stats don't lie. Tampa Bay Sun have just had the 1 shot on target, 4 shots total, but 1 shot on target, that of course being the goal from Tash Flint. Brooklyn, 9 shots created, 3 on target. That conversion rate telling the story of what has been a bumpy spring season so far for the home side. Here's Simpson. It's blocked off of the back of Armani. Mackenzie George having to come all the way back to defend now. Pickett just sends it forwards. Be controlled by Grabias. She settles so well out of the air. Grabias to Garciano. And further forward for Scarpelli. Scarps. To Philpotts. Was she onside? No, she was not. Here's Scarpelli with a rare one run forward from the back line, but she's caught in an offside position.
That's why she's caught, because it's a rare run. She's not used to being in those attacking positions, and it's frustrating. We've done all that hard work to get you there, to then go and give the free kick away to Tampa Bay Sun.
Schneider. Hendricks. Brooke Hendricks given plenty of time now as she picks her pass tidily into the midfield for Moore. Garziano with a great work right there as the rain is beginning falling in Brooklyn, as we're 1 minute away from finding out the stoppage time. Not a bad time for the rain to start. Ladies and gentlemen can go grab a hot drink and get some shade. It's a great crowd here. You can just see in the back everyone leaving for cover. Hendricks. Long ball forward. This time Tash Flint can't settle. And quick off her line was Purcell, but just slices the clearance.
Purcell coming in halfway through the last match when Sydney Martinez got injured and came off.
Will be 2 additional minutes to round out the first half of action here from Maimonides Park. Here come Tampa Bay Sun with Jamona. Be laid back, and then Jordan Listro gets underneath it to sail this one over the crossbar.
It shows you how good Tash Flint's finish was when that shot there flies all the way over from Listro. She also wasn't fully set. Flint not only managed to get her shot on target, she got power behind it, got it right in the corner. What a fantastic finish.
Purcell sends it long. Flicked off a Tampa Bay Sun head and cleared only as far as Armani. Mackenzie George to Armani with the back heel. Here comes Sama Armani. Has options in the box. Crosses it to the edge of the 6. No one home for Brooklyn.
It was Mackenzie George again with the back heel. Little moment of magic.
And here she is again, Mackenzie George. She's been everywhere for Brooklyn. Mackenzie George deflects it. And Sasha Picker will take a deep attacking throw for Brooklyn FC. Head coach Jess Silver with a good catch to try and get play started quickly. She wants to give these players tempo, and that again, just an unforced error from Brooklyn FC as they throw it straight out of play for a goal kick.
Yeah, throw-ins out of play, corners early on, straight out of play. Missed chances. It's going to be a frustrating dressing room, locker room to be in. Jess Silver will not be happy with the return from dominating large parts of this first half.
Well, Jess Silver will have the opportunity to head into the locker room. It's halftime here from Maimonides Park. 1-1 the score, with Brooklyn FC taking the lead early through Grace Philpott's first Super League goal in the 11th minute, assisted by Mackenzie George. It was a Natasha Flint volley off of a set piece for the Tampa Bay Sun equalizer. Gary Bailey, your thoughts on that first 45?
I think Tampa Bay Sun will be very happy. You know, one great strike, the only one to hit target, gives them the goal. Some poor defending for the goal they conceded. Page unable to get the ball away at the far post, but other than that, a rocky start. Tampa Bay Sun worked their way back into the game. For Brooklyn, missed chances, missed opportunities, too many poor set pieces, and they're going to have to, hopefully for them, raise their game in the second half.
It's a big second half performance needed for both of these two sides. A reminder that Brooklyn FC have still not been able to pick up their first victory right here in Coney Island. We're now going to be joined by Tash Flint, who of course got the goal that has Tampa Bay in the draw. Tash, congratulations on a fantastic strike. Talk us through what you saw as that ball dropped to you.
I mean, I'm not normally on the edge on corners, but it's somewhere where I'd like to be now for the future, and I should get some goals from there.
Yeah, Tash, it was a great strike, but question for you now is, what do you want from the rest of the team to be able to leave here with 3 points today?
We just need to be a bit more complacent. We need to keep the ball a little bit better. It's a windy night tonight. It wasn't like this in the warm-up, so we've come out and it's a difference, but we just need to keep the ball, do what we can do what we've been working on in the week, and hopefully we'll get the 3 points.
Well, Tash, good luck in the second half. Congratulations on the goal.
Thank you.
That was Tash Flint. We've got plenty of action to get in for you in the halftime break, but your halftime score is Brooklyn FC 1, Tampa Bay Sun 1. Stick with us here on Peacock.
Success doesn't come easy. It takes grit, hustle, and relentless effort. Every step forward brings you closer to greatness. This is your moment. Elevate your game. El Jimador Spiked Bebidas.
Forward defending. Ramirez is in behind the keeper and scores!
Marley Canales with the shot! Cross, Richardson tapped home!
Bedoya launches and tucks it into the top right-hand corner. Whoa! Say man by Alpizi.
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
Pain doesn't care who you are or why you hurt, but pain can be mastered if you know the way. Fight back with Tiger Balm's legendary herbal power. Trusted for over 100 years, our proven blend of camphor, menthol, and essential oils tames pain with the strength and speed of the tiger, so that you can rise above pain and get back to living. This is the way of the tiger.
The two most important days in your life are the day you are born and the day you find out why.
Yeah, trick. I said what I said. I don't care. I paint the town red.
If you can survive this, it's going to make the whole story that much better.
The bright horses are broken free from the fields.
Welcome back to Maimonides Park here in Coney Island. Brooklyn FC in a 1-1 tie through the first 45 minutes against the Tampa Bay Sun. The USL Super League has so much going on all around it. Let's take a look at our news and notes for this week. And as we take a look for Carolina Ascent, Riley Parker scored the fastest goal in Super League history, 97 seconds into the game. Carolina Ascent are looking hot at the moment. Trinity Dallas Trinity, that is, have a goalkeeper in great form and a forward in great form. That's a great place to be as a team.
They've been scoring goals for fun, sticking 6 and 3 past Brooklyn, and they really have been playing well recently.
And then we talk about Tampa Bay right here, right now. This, of course, from before today's game, they had 3 players tied with 6 goals in Carly Jamona, Tash Flint, and Cecilia Fleur. Well, guess what? Tash Flint has broken away with a goal today. So, leading the team now with 7 goals. It's that time. Playoffs coming up. The inaugural season. Top 4 make it to the first ever playoffs. And it's looking tight right now, Gary Bailey.
Especially for Tampa Bay Sun. You know, as we said, a win puts them right behind Dallas Trinity, but if they only pick up even a point here today, and Dallas pick up points, Carolina Sem pick up points, and suddenly that gap starts to extend. And for Spokane Zephyr, they've been in recent good form, but they've still got a lot of ground to make up to make the top 4.
About 8 games left for most of these sides, so still a lot of movement can take place. We talk about those games coming up. Here's your upcoming USL Super League schedule. Tonight, Carolina Ascent taking on Dallas Trinity, and then a couple of weekday matches, Dallas Trinity and DC Power, and then Spokane versus Brooklyn. Be interesting, Gary, to see how Brooklyn do today with the momentum they could have going into that game.
Yeah, if they could win today, they'll be top of the league, clear as the way it stands at the moment anyway, and they were going to that match feeling confident. If they don't, it'll be another game without a win in this bad run of theirs. So for them, confidence-wise, massive second half coming up.
It was an exciting first half of action here from Maimonides Park, but we have so much more to get into here in our halftime show. Coming up around the corner, we've got highlights and stats.
All right, guys, the Golden Boot race is heating up. We give you our favorites along with some dark horses to keep your eye on.
Marion, I'm excited for everybody to hear our takes on that one. Plus, we are joined by Dallas's midfielder Amber Brooks. She talks about her decision on choosing the Super League and where she sees this league going in the future.
First 45, it's 1-1 here from Maimonides Park. We've got more to get into. Halftime stats and highlights coming up next. Stick with us here on Peacock. Brooklyn FC fans urging their side for 3 points from Maimonides Park right now in a draw with Tampa Bay Sun. It was an exciting first 45 minutes. Gary Bailey, let's take a look at the half-time highlights. And for Brooklyn FC, they got off to a bright start.
They did, mostly through Mackenzie George on that right-hand side, gets the better of Jackie Simpson, gets down there, whips it across. There's a chance there for Paige at that far post of the number 22 for Tampa Bay to have cleared it. She doesn't, and what happens? Grace Philpotts pounces on it and puts her home side ahead.
And that Grace Philpotts' first professional goal, a fantastic moment. Love this celebration. You can see what it meant to her teammates. Unfortunately, the joy would be short-lived. A set-piece magician moment for Tampa Bay Sun.
Brooke Hendricks just plays it into the path of Tash Flint, who right on the spot, without needing a second touch, hits it on the volley, leaning backwards, but she hits it so well right into the corner. Brilliant finish from Tash Flint.
Wonder if she's telling her teammates there, I need to be in those areas more. We're getting a look now at the halftime statistics, and they tell a story of Brooklyn FC's in front of goal woes. They continue right now with lack of clinical finishing.
They had chances to have scored a second and maybe a third. Their XG is only 0.104, so 1 from 1.04 is good, but the XG for Tampa Bay just 0.28, and they managed to get a goal from that. So Tampa Bay taking their opportunity brilliantly. The same can't really be said for Brooklyn FC.
I have to think Tampa Bay Sun would like to utilize their share of possession to create more opportunities in the second half. It's a one-of-a-kind stadium at Coney Island, and the fans certainly having a party. Can they get more out of the second half? Stick with us. Second half is right around the corner. We're back. The second half action from Maimonides Park underway as Brooklyn FC looking to claw their way out of a tie with Tampa Bay Sun. Jessica Charman, Gary Bailey, our entire crew welcome you to USL Super League coverage on Peacock. We are going to confirm that Natasha Flint did receive a yellow card caution in the 41st minute for a foul on Sam Kroger. So a goal and a yellow card for Natasha Flint so far tonight. Scarpelli getting ready to throw this one into play. Does look like the rain has slowed down, which is good news for all the fans that have gathered here in Coney Island. Garziano couldn't find a connecting pass, and instead Tampa Bay Sun will try and split the ball to Nausello. And Gary Bailey, a big halftime talk for both these sides. What do you think the approach was for our two head coaches, Denise Schulte-Brown and Jess Silver?
I think for Jess Silver, it's keep doing what you're doing, because they created plenty of chances. They've just got to get more clinical in front of goals, and that's just one of those things the players have to do it, and they have to be in a position to do it. So I don't think they've had a bad first half, not taking their chances. I think for Denise Schulte-Brown, more of a problem. They had one little chance. The XG is only 0.28, and on that one chance, Tash Flint took it brilliantly. They need to do more, Tampa Bay. They need to create more around the edge of the box, get Nausello running down those wings, and we haven't seen Cecilia Flew, who's one of their top goal scorers. Well, as I say, as we haven't seen her, she heads the ball, but you know what I mean? She hasn't been in that box causing problems.
We'll see if Tampa Bay Sun are able to get more touches for Cecilia Flew. Mackenzie George is the player that got plenty of touches in the first half for Brooklyn FC, as this cross is easily scooped by Sydney Schneider.
Talking of opportunities for Tampa Bay Sun, they haven't got an XG greater than 1 in their last 3 games. So it's not like this is a sudden thing. They're just not creating enough, not getting enough balls in there. The goal that has come in this match comes from a set piece. Get it into the danger area. And there's Jess Silver just hoping that her players a little bit more clinical in front of goals in the second half.
She'll be happy with the way that her side has played, but that has been the story of a lot of the spring season. She said there's been great moments. Her side make her proud every single day with their resilience and their ability, but they just haven't found their opportunities. And there's a look at Denise Schulte-Brown and her coaching staff. They'll be wanting a little bit more, as you mentioned, Gary, out of their finishing opportunities and creating opportunities to finish in this second 45. Scarpelli loops this ball forwards. It's headed down by Amani. And Sydney Schneider will settle at her boots.
Back to that same problem with Brooklyn. They've had more shots than anybody else in the Super League, 242, but they're like 6 out of 8 teams in goals. So clearly the shots are not doing what they should be doing. They're not on target, or they're not very good when they are on target. When you have the most shots and you have one of the fewest goals, then clearly your conversion rate is poor, and that seems to be what is hampering Brooklyn FC. Having said that, again, they're still top of the league, joint top, so a win here today and maybe all these problems will seem less important.
Here, Jess Silver urging her side to press a little higher. The press was fruitful in that first half, as Tash Flint is able to head it down to herself. Flint looking to stream the ball forward into Simpson. Mackenzie George on the defensive side of the ball this time to poke it away. Amani back to Pickard and slammed forwards. Amani playing on a yellow card. Needs to be careful with some of those duels she's getting into, as Garziano couldn't find Grabias. But the ball stays with Brooklyn FC with a throw. Scarpelli. Kroger in a physical battle with Fleur. And you mentioned in the first half, Gary, Fleur not able to get on the ball. How do they find more windows for her to shine?
Oh, possession and you know, once you've got possession and also support. She's very good at closing down. She's actually quite back on the left-hand side of your screen, number 13. She's a bit deeper than normal.
Headed ball forward to Philpotts. Philpotts with a one-time pass. Armani! Sama Armani gets her goal and Brooklyn FC lead. You see what it means to Brooklyn. And Armani finally gets her goal.
She had a great chance earlier in the match, didn't take it. Had a look at the celebration, by the way. That's a bit different. I love it. She had a great chance last match, didn't take it, but at last it's come her way. Good flick on there into space. And that's a lovely early ball from Grace Philpotts. And that makes it possible. Rather than taking a touch, and she hits it early into space and finds Salma Armani. It's a lovely first-time pass. Good little finish. Nice flick on. Well-constructed goal. No doubt Jess Silver said we need to be more clinical in front of goals, and that's exactly what they've gone and done.
And for Grace Philpotts, she's having herself a game, a goal, and now an assist. Confirmation, the goal for Sama Armani in the 51st minute. That her first goal for Brooklyn FC. And whatever Jess Silver said in the dressing room at halftime seems to have spurred her side on to a great start to the second half.
I wonder if this will spur Brooklyn on to get a second or third or fourth rather, or whether it will spur Tampa Bay to get back in the match. But we're just talking about Tampa Bay, their XG being low, not creating chances. They're going to have to do something about it now. They can't stay in their half all the time. They've got to get in the opponent's half, get down the flanks, and as I say, that ball just knocked to nowhere in particular. But this is where they can do a high press, and I was going to mention about Cecilia Flute, very good at pressing. She's got a lot of important turnover ball, and one or two of Tash Flint's goals have come from Cecilia Flo, winning the ball on the edge of the box and setting up Tash Flint. So let's see what they can do now with a high press.
Brooklyn FC had struggled with goals all spring long. They now have 2 goals in a game. For the first time in the entire spring, they'd only scored 2 goals coming into this spring.
Yeah, 2 goals scored, 13 conceded coming into this. So you're right, it's a much better feeling. And Jess Silver did say to us, we're going to celebrate, we want to party, but we have to win in order to do that. She said, and when we do, we're going to have a great time.
Still a lot of football to be played, as Jess Silver would say. So making sure that she's able to see her side shield this one out as we're going to look at the skipper, Kelsey Hill, in the back line. It's Garabias. Used her body to keep the ball with her side from the throw.
I just wonder if there is one little difference with these two teams coming into this match. Brooklyn played 6 days ago, last Sunday. For Tampa Bay, 10 days ago. Are their legs a little bit better rested? And if so, will we see a difference last 10, 15 minutes? Only time will tell. I'm sure all Tampa Bay Sun fans are hoping that's the case.
It'll be a free kick now for Brooklyn FC. Garziano setting up for the set piece. Tampa Bay Sun not happy with the foul that was called. Garziano plays it deep. It's headed clear by Hendricks. Marcelo down the channel for Tash Flint to chase. Flint, brave defending by Pickard as she blocked the chip ball. Pickard again tried to go for the slide tackle. She will get the throw. Fleur. The touches have been few and far in between tonight.
I'm just wondering if Denise Schultz-Uban is looking at her bench at Erica Timrad, Parker Goins, and thinking there's one or two players who just haven't clicked, and Fleur's one of them. Doesn't mean to say she won't click, because she's that good a player. She could even on a bad day, pop up and score. But as a coach, you're thinking, do I make some changes? Do I bring somebody else on just to liven things up? Because they just haven't really done enough for me yet, Tampa Bay Sun, to deserve to win this match, and they'll need to do something better in the next, 35 minutes or so.
And that's a blessing of having a deep squad, having players of the quality that you mentioned, like Parker Goins, on the bench, ready to try and have an impact. Simpson couldn't find the pass.
The fans seem to have stayed up undercover. They haven't come back into their seats. I don't think too many of them are wanting to take a risk of getting too wet.
Armani has the goal to her name and was trying to add a second. It's well shielded back into the hands of Sydney Schneider. Schneider with the big boot forwards. Flint couldn't settle. Purcell plays it wide, and we talked to Jess Silver about Niku Purcell, and she said that even though she's young in age, she is a leader, she's very vocal, she has great feet, and she's an asset to have in that goalkeeping position. Armani forward to Mackenzie George. Mackenzie George able to hustle and bustle and earn a corner.
It's the first time I've seen the defense catch up with her. I thought once she was away, she was gone, but she sort of slowed down to get control of the ball. But nonetheless, got a set piece now. Can Brooklyn put a good ball in, cause Tampa Bay Sun some problems, maybe get a knockdown or a header straight in, and try and put some distance between them and the visiting team.
Sam Kroger. Brooklyn's 2 previous corners have left a lot to be desired. What will they do here? Kroger to Armani. Armani to Kroger. Kroger changes the angle of delivery. Phil Potts heads it. A bike attempt by Pantuso, and it's really brave by Kylie Jamona to stand her ground.
It was the beginning of a bike attempt, wasn't it? She never left the ground that much. Pantuso, I think she gave it half a thought and then thought, it's not going to work.
Maybe her defensive mindset seeping in a little bit.
Of course, you have to be careful, because the moment you start raising your boot in the box, then you're going to give away a free kick and you might pick up a card. So you've got to be sure there's no one around you when you try the bicycle kick.
Here's Purcell. Hill. And a higher pressure from Tampa Bay Sun that Brooklyn will look to play out of. Pantuso. Cries of long from the bench are met. Garabias in a footwork race with Hendricks. Hendricks has to just clear it out of play, and you're seeing some frustration out of this back line. Look like Hendricks and Bissett not happy with each other.
It just shows you when you play out under pressure, sometimes it's not the end of the world. They're the opposition, give you a throw in, and you're in a great position now to build an attack. So you don't always have to play out every single time you're coming out of defense.
We do see our first substitution of the game. Denise Schulte-Brown going to her bench and bringing on Parker Goins. Paige's night is over, and Parker Goins, a player with plenty of pedigree, coming in for her 15th appearance in the Super League, has 1 goal. Here's Jamona. Good work for Jamona as a slide tackle from Moore. Armani. And Armani chopped down, earns a free kick. And the foul's starting to add up in this game, Gary.
As with all games, it tends to get a little bit chippier as the match moves on and frustrations creep in. Armani with some good little footwork. Just a shove in the back from Jamona. She had the ball. She doesn't actually need to shove her in the back. But again, there's a question as to what they can do with this set piece, Brooklyn.
Kroger launches this ball in, and it's good goalkeeping from Sydney Schneider, quick off her line.
wasn't a bad ball. I mean, it was dropping when the keeper came to get it, just that no one was in the right place from Brooklyn's point of view.
Didn't try to switch the field. She was able to do so. Fleur pushes it forward into the run of Narcello. Sydney Narcello. And Fleur able to square the ball to Listro. A long kick forwards by Bissett is blocked away. And Brooklyn's defensive shape stays strong.
It's important for Brooklyn here that they don't make defending their permanent play, their permanent strategy for the next 30 minutes. It's fine to defend when you have to, but they need to attack and get a second goal between the two teams. You just don't want to try and hang on to a one-goal lead, especially when you're at home.
Narcello couldn't quite get the touch she wanted, and it allowed Pickard to clear it away. Sasha Pickard's had a strong role in the defensive side of this game so far for Brooklyn FC. A stalwart in the back line for her team. It's the early cross in, and it hits the crossbar off of Flint. Tash Flint rattles the woodwork.
Wow, what a good chance. And of all the players you want on the end of it, if you're Tampa Bay Sun, it's Tash Flint. And she absolutely cracks that crossbar. She managed to lose her marker. Good ball coming in from out wide. Now the chippiness getting a little bit higher as we thought it might. And wow, I thought that was going to hit the back of the net.
Just saw a little bit of afters. And Stephanie McFarlane dealing with it. Let's have a look at this chance and how quickly it came about.
Tash Flint's on her own there. She's lost her marker completely. What a good ball in, I think, from Narcello. Goalkeeper hasn't come for it, but did the goalkeeper get a touch? Didn't see it. If it did, it would be a great save. Otherwise, she just hit the crossbar. Good move from Tampa Bay Sun.
You can just feel the confidence right now for the visitors. So we pass the hour mark. Moore serving it in towards the backside of the 18. Jamona recovers. Great feet by Carly Jamona. Rain continuing to pour here at Maimonides Park. Ball chipped forward towards Grabias. Grabias couldn't get there early enough. And Philpotts controls. Philpotts looking to thread it through to Grabias. Parker Goins has to play it out of touch. It's Jess Silver's time to make an adjustment now, and coming in is Dana Sheriff. She will replace Luana Grabias, and just wonder if Grabias after that foul maybe earned a look from Jess Silver as well to calm her down. So Dana Sheriff coming in. She did start last time out for Brooklyn FC, and now she will enter the game as a substitute.
Yeah, she scored a few goals this season, so very capable of getting a third and trying to settle this game down. And of course, whenever subs come on with their fresh legs, fresh minds, they can have a big impact, as Jess says. Well done there.
George forward to Armani. Jackie Simpson shields it out of play, and Armani's called for a foul. Interested in catching Brooklyn FC in action live at Maimonides Park? Scan the QR code on the screen for a chance to win 4 free tickets to Brooklyn FC's next home match versus Lexington Sporting Club on Saturday, April 19th. See you in Coney Island. did mention Armani going in for that tackle because she is on a yellow card. Needs to be careful.
Yep. An unnecessary yellow card if we go back to the first half.
As the rain continues to fall here and the turf slickens. You want to be very careful with the challenges you're putting in because a good intentioned challenge can very quickly become a foul in these conditions, Gary.
Yeah, very much so. Which is why, as we said earlier, you hate to give away unnecessary yellows and put yourself in that precarious position of a second yellow and off the pitch you go.
Here is Armani. Defended by Moore. Armani trying to sneak the ball through her legs. Jade Moore does well. Fleur. Pantuso, calm. And all the way back to Purcell in goal.
Looking for the high press here, Tampa Bay Sun trying to force the long ball.
Force the long ball they do, but it was a good ball to Pickard. And then a splitting run. Philpotts will chase. Philpotts will get there. And then a tug back by Vivian Bissett. Big decision to be made by our centre referee, Stephanie McFarlane now. And it is a yellow card for Vivian Bissett.
Was she the last line of defence there? Dogso, denial of a goal scoring opportunity. Would be a red card. Let's just have a look here when the ball comes through. Is there anybody else on their shoulder? No, I think she's last line of defence, so she's very lucky to get a yellow card there. That looked to me a lot more red than yellow.
It was certainly orange, wasn't it, Gary? Perhaps distance from goal is what Stephanie McFarlane's looking at. There is work to do, but shall we say you've seen them given?
I've seen them given. I think that's as you say, there's a number of things to have to take into calculation.
Kroger over everybody, and the set-piece disappointment for Brooklyn FC is a topic of concern. We've talked about it multiple times today, and Kroger, a player of her caliber, needs to be putting better balls in from those moments.
It's been very poor in general, and these are not the most difficult balls in, especially when they chipped. Oh, look at that rain coming down now. I mean, a good free kick and a good corner is whipped in with pace, but these are even chipped in and they're still off target, so concerns there. Just on that dog, so there are a number of things to take into account. One of them is distance to goal, but I think she's about 35 yards out. I didn't see any defenders covering. The other thing is direction. She was heading in the right direction and she had active control. So all four pillars for Dogso, denial of a goal scoring opportunity, were in play. So I wonder if that will come back for discussion.
Big clashing of
later
heads
in this match
will lead to a stoppage of play. It's a player down for each side. It's Fleur for Tampa Bay Sun. So we get another look at the collision that took place here. It's Pantuso and Fleur in that challenge, so we'll wish them the best. Good to see the athletic trainers quick on the mark. I will say, Gary, back to that big decision. It'll certainly be one that we might be clipping and sending to our friends at Pro to give us an explanation in our monthly meetings, correct?
Yeah, absolutely will be. Look, I mean, if Brooklyn go on to win this, then it's a moot point. But if they don't, and then you're looking at it going, well, you know, that should have been a red potentially, and then it would have been down to a player less, Tampa Bay.
Let's get another look at it.
So Philpotts is away, pulled back. There's nobody on cover. She's heading towards the edge of the box. I don't see mitigating circumstances for not giving a red card.
And the goalkeeper is backing up as well. So even with this heavy touch, I'm looking at the goalkeeper. She's opted to back away. She's not coming to get that ball.
The only thing is the ball might be moving away from goal. It was sort of heading at a 45-degree angle. So perhaps in fairness to referee Stephanie McFarlane, she felt, well, she would have had to, Philpotts would have had to have gone out wide to get the ball to come back in which case there would have been cover. But as you say, orange, it's somewhere. If it's not red, it's very close.
It is Flo, still getting looked at and assessed. So we see a nice little moment between her and Garziano in the challenge. And this is a good moment of pause, Gary, for both these coaching staffs to bring their players together. If you're Jess Silva, what are you saying to your team right now?
Well, you don't want to be holding on to a 1-goal lead in the final minutes, because they've lost leads before like that. So you want to get this next goal. You want to keep pushing forward on that front foot and finish this game off, you know, and finish it off confidently as well. That's what she would like to do.
We're going to take a look at the goals that have got us here into a 2-1 lead for Brooklyn FC. A quick start for Brooklyn FC and a first-time scorer in the USL Super League.
Kenzie George down the right-hand side, whips it across the goals. A Page doesn't deal with it. And Grace Philpotts takes advantage. This one, Tash Flint, edge of box, just a great strike, just trying to remain balanced in the process. Long ball over the top for this third goal here. Philpotts, first time ball, class ball, right up to Selma Amani. And I love the celebration.
Brooklyn FC famous for the celebrations. The celebrations have been few and far between in this spring season due to the struggles. Today they've had an opportunity to smile, enjoy themselves. I think that's what Jess Silva was really urging for her team, to get an opportunity to enjoy their soccer. And today, right now, they've had some bright moments, but as you mentioned all too well, Gary, they still have work to be done to see out this result.
Just go back sort of 10-15 minutes. Tash Flint has hit the crossbar there, all on her own, unmarked, 6 yards out, and rattled the bar. And that should have gone in, to be fair, because Tash Flint's a really good finisher. So possibly could have been 2-2. So yeah, this game a long way from being over as yet.
We'll start with an uncontested drop ball, and it's chipped forwards. Flint takes it down, and then a free kick immediately awarded against Tash Flint.
He was on a yellow, as you mentioned to us, after half-time. So again, another player that has to tread carefully.
A reset here with the yellow cards. It's Sama Armani for Brooklyn and Tash Flint and Viv Bissett for Tampa Bay Sun. Chested down, it's Moore. There's a heavy ball forward, was looking for Fleur. Jamona, and it's good to see Fleur back into the action now after passing the concussion protocol to be allowed back onto the field of play.
Such a dangerous player, even now at this late stage of the game. Fleur, if given a service, could still get Tampa Bay back into this match.
Niku Purcell.
Yeah, hasn't done much to do. You made that point a few times, and I think it's a good point. He really has been a spectator for most of this match, Niku.
Here's Mackenzie George. Finds Armani. Armani puts it to an area, nobody there.
There's a couple more subs that both sides can look to the bench for. Erica Timrak for Tampa Bay Sun, perhaps. Hope Breslin for Brooklyn. Because players will be getting tired, and I just wonder if those extra 4 days rest for Tampa Bay start to kick in round about now, whether they have a little bit more energy.
Here comes the opportunity down the middle of the park. Tampa Bay Sun couldn't quite get there. He's back on defensive duty now, Philpotts.
Yeah, Purcell doing well to read that and come out and boot it clear.
That's Sheriff chasing this one down. Haven't seen too much of her since arriving as a substitute in place of Luana Grabias. As the ball is awarded to Brooklyn FC for this throw-in. Armani has had herself a game with the back heel there. A little risky. And Tampa Bay Sun straight down the middle of the park. Flint will pressure. And a collision between Purcell and Pantuso.
And Tash Flint just making sure that both of them are okay, which again is a wonderful part of women's sport that you don't see in men's sport too often.
Kenzie George will pressure. Back to Schneider in goal. And Schneider, with a risky pass, does find Goins. And then the free kick called.
complaints from Brooklyn, but you get the sense that Tampa Bay now getting more of the ball, looking longer, trying to find Tash Flint with these long balls and Cecilia Flew.
And maybe in these conditions as well, sometimes it's better to go direct with the chaos that can happen in the rain.
Yeah, I've got no problem. I think you need to mix it up. Sometimes going direct can actually get you a lot of good results.
Was Pickard hustled down by Fleur. Free kick will be awarded. It's getting a little chippy here.
Yeah, probably will get even chippier as these last 15 minutes go along.
Interested in catching Brooklyn FC in action live at Maimonides Park? Scan the QR code on the screen for a chance to win 4 free tickets to Brooklyn's next home match versus Lexington Sporting Club on Saturday, April 19th. See you in Coney Island.
Well, they've got Spokane away and Carolina Ascent away, so you hope that by the time they get back home, they've got a bunch more points under their belt, and it'll be a nice, comfortable game.
Momentum is the word that they're looking for. Brooklyn FC has lacked momentum in the spring segment of this inaugural Super League season.
They've lacked goals as well. At least they've got them today. So Jess Silver will no doubt be a lot happier, but they will be fuming if they go from 2-1 up and they end up drawing this, or even worse, losing it. So still lots of work to be done by Brooklyn.
2 brand new goal scorers as well. First time goal scorers in Amani and Philpotts. Good for them to diversify that attack. Garziano will serve this free kick. Another new free kick taker is Garziano. Hill was the closest to it. Hillam fighting at the edge of the box, and then Stephanie McFarlane's whistle blows against Hill's challenge.
I'm surprised there's only been 1 sub on both sides. With the sense that probably in the next 5 minutes would be a good time to bring on another set of fresh legs, especially for Tampa Bay Sun. They're the team that have to be aggressive, have to be on the front foot as they get back in this match.
Flint. Hendricks gives it away. Scarpelli back to Purcell, and Purcell just puts her foot through it. Bissett sends this one forwards. It's headed down by Jamona. Flo went down. See some appeals from players on Tampa Bay Sun's field.
It's a risky moment for Brooklyn. The ball's flicked on and they defended it well in the end. But you get too many of those balls in the box, eventually one of them will fall to the feet of a Tampa Bay Sun player, and that's when they can get the equalizer. So again, back to that point for Brooklyn FC. Try and control the ball, try and get up the pitch and stay up that pitch and box Tampa Bay Sun in. Don't let them out.
Nico Purcell, the 21-year-old goalkeeper, just boots that one as far away from frame as possible. Results in a Tampa Bay Sun throw-in. Schneider to Bissett on that yellow card. Bissett splitting pass forward. Flint couldn't make it stick. And Kroger starts it back with Pantuso. Good possession from Brooklyn FC right now, as they just need to keep the ball away from Tampa Bay. Still 12 minutes plus stoppage time to go. Another goal would bring joy to their hearts and a lot more comfort to their nerves.
Absolutely, especially Jess Silver's nerves and the rest of the coaching staff. Because this could dictate how the rest of the season goes. You get the win here, you clear at the top for a little while anyway, and you've got 2 away games coming up, so maybe you go into those feeling a lot more confident, but don't get a result here, and then the pressure just builds and builds with 2 tough away matches coming up, and then suddenly you're struggling to get any points at all, and God forbid they end up out of the top 4. So it's a crucial moment, as it is for Tampa Bay. 4 points behind a playoff spot. If they get no points here, even a draw is not really what Tampa Bay Sun want. They want to try and get back in this game and grab all 3 points, but time running out at this moment, just over 10 minutes left.
And now they've given away a free kick that allows an opportunity for Brooklyn through Kroger. Sam Kroger tries to slot it forwards into Mackenzie George. Ball still alive. Huge save by Schneider. Brave from Schneider. It is then pulled back for the ball going out of play.
Must have just gone over the line, but Schneider didn't know, and she put her hands in danger there. Just hope she hasn't picked up an injury.
Stay up to date with the USL Super League. Sign up for the Super newsletter. Get news about your favorite team and stories from around the league delivered directly to your inbox weekly. Sign up at uslsuperleague.com/newsletter. So we just got another look at that play. A direct run forward. Goins. Really well done by Nico Purcell. Quick off her line. She's been very sharp, but she's got to get back to goal quickly.
Very sharp, but she had to get that timing right, otherwise it was a penalty. She got it 100% spot on, but it was a heart in the mouth moment.
Pistro.
Ready?
Does feel like Tampa Bay Sun have at least a couple more big opportunities in them. But Brooklyn FC still defending as a team. Sheriff leaves it. As Philpotts tried to play it back towards Sheriff, it was too easy to pick up from Bissett. Looked like it may have hit the referee, so the play will have to be pulled back. Tampa Bay Sun frustrated because they were able to find a good delivery even after the contact with the referee. Allow a double substitution for Tampa Bay Sun now. Coming in is Jordan Zaid. It'll also be a Super League debut for Hannah Keane. Hannah Keane, a player with plenty of professional experience, most recently in Australia. Did suffer an injury before arriving to Tampa Bay Sun injured, but has worked very, very hard with her return to play protocol, and now is getting her opportunity in a big game for Tampa Bay Sun for the remaining 8 minutes. Here's Zaid. Flint couldn't find the angle. And Mackenzie George will settle. Pickard. Graziano was trying to find Armani, couldn't quite get there. And a foul is called. It was newcomer Hannah Keane drawing the free kick.
You always want players to do well when they've been out with injuries, and she had a patella injury of some sort, and wish her well and hope that her coming back into football now she'll be injury free for a long time.
Here's Jordan Zaid. Zaid puts in a good cross, headed away near post. Volley from distance, skying it was Tash Flint. That'll set up the opportunity for a double substitution. Emily Yapel will replace Grace Philpotts. A great evening for Grace Philpotts today, coming off with a goal and an assist. We'll also see Hope Breslin come in. She is replacing the other goal scorer, Salma Armani.
This makes sense now, bringing in these fresh legs for these last 10 minutes on both sides. Obviously, for Tampa Bay Sun, you bring them on to try and find the gap and get that equalizer, and for Brooklyn to run around defending with that extra little bit of energy that you bring to the party when you come on with just 10 minutes to play.
Free kick pulled back. Tampa Bay Sun have a set piece. Zaid. Jordan Zaid crosses it in, deflects into the hands of Purcell. She's able to tightrope the goal line and keep it in her hands. Been impressed with Jordan Zaid entering this pitch. She's had a couple of good runs down that right-hand side.
He's got nice pace. Almost reminds me of Mackenzie George in the first 10 minutes of the game. Bombing down the right-hand side, good pace, trying to whip balls in.
It's just the 6th match in the Super League that Jordan Zaid has featured in, 22 years of age. Wayward touch from Tampa Bay Sun.
No rush from Brooklyn now. They're only 5 minutes plus any added time away from these vital 3 points. 3 points that probably over the entire match they deserve. They've been the better side, created a lot more chances, but they don't want to risk anything. So just trying to keep it as tight as possible there and just work this clock down.
Stay informed about all things Super League. Visit uslsuperleague.com for all the latest information, analysis and insight into the league.
Looking back at their last match against DC Power, Brooklyn, 84th minute equalizer. Well, they've passed the 84th minute, so hopefully that for them, they're getting closer and closer to these valuable 3 points.
It's hard not to have the muscle memory of those defeats and not be a little bit nervous, though, as Purcell came at the edge of her box. Gets there just.
I'm thinking maybe just kick it away, but she waited and waited, and credit to her, she got her hands in it, but she would have been annoyed if the striker got a toe into that ball first and caused problems, but well done. Purcell hasn't had a lot to do, but done it well.
Purcell, a goalkeeper on the US Women's National Team periphery, has featured for the US Under-20s 7 times and was invited into the Futures camp in January, so one to keep an eye on in terms of representing the United States. As the ball sent forwards, Yapel will chase. It'll be seen out of play by Viv Bissett.
It's important for Yapel now, with all the extra energy she has, to stay close, to try and pin in Tampa Bay, to help the others around her, obviously feeling a lot more tired than she is, just to help them with those extra runs.
Sydney Schneider, Jamaican international, on her Super League debut, has had to concede twice, did have an amazing save early on in the game. As Hill, and then just sent as far away from Brooklyn's back line as possible. Did stay in, impressively, Bissett. Looked like a foul, a blatant foul there from Hill.
Big elbow in the back. Not the sort of foul you want to give away at this moment in time. You know, it gives Tampa Bay the opportunity to get all the big sort of centre backs, the tall players into the box, and then launch one in there.
These do feel
unnecessarily.
Like game management moments, Gary.
Yeah, just don't do that. Just let them fight a lot harder to get themselves into the box than this.
Bissett will send this one into the box. It's met by Jade Moore. And it's out of play. Simpson just couldn't find a way to save that one in on the byline. Tampa Bay Sun clutching at straws right now as they look to claw back an equalizer.
Jess Silver's clutching at her watch to see how much longer there is to go, because it depends how much added time is included, but they're getting very, very close to those 3 points and the first win in a long, long time. No wins in the last 6 since the winter break.
Last win was on the last game of the season in a top of the table clash against Dallas Trinity.
Yeah, the winter season, yeah, it's a long time ago. 6 games, 18 goals conceded, just 2 scored coming into this match.
Flew and Hill in a battle. Did look like Hill might have timed that slide tackle just right. And then a foul is won for Brooklyn FC.
Applause from the Brooklyn bench, because they know what it means to take the sting out of it. And you're right, there was a little moment there in the box where you think you'll get this tackle right, otherwise there's a penalty.
Brooklyn FC trying to drain every second off of the clock as we approach the final 10 seconds of regulation. Schneider boots it long. It's headed straight back by Hill. And Yapel tried to push it further afield for Sheriff, who chases. 5 minutes is the number. Not enough in a Tampa Bay perspective. Too much for Brooklyn FC. Let's see what Tampa Bay can do with it as they push the ball forwards, and it's wide of the net.
Wow, what a chance. Amazing. You think you've got it wrapped up, Brooklyn, and you can see the 5 minutes. There was a really good chance there, and from that angle, thought that was going to end up in the back of the net. Turn and a shot coming in from Hannah Keane. And wouldn't that have been a return, a welcome return after injury? She could have just chipped that over Niku Purcell.
Hannah Keane in her first Super League minutes with a good opportunity. Went near post, didn't find the target. Physical challenge coming in, and yet again, Brooklyn FC have given up a set piece. There was a yellow card shown as well for Brooklyn FC's Hope Breslin. The late substitution has picked up a yellow card. We'll get a look at the contact.
A little bit of late contact there, unnecessarily so.
Yet again, it's an opportunity for Tampa Bay Sun to launch a ball into an area. Bissett will send this one towards the edge of the 6. It's met by a Pantuso header. Corner kick, Tampa Bay. No ball people ready to help Tampa Bay. They have to get it themselves. Zaid. It's headed up in the air. Goins will challenge. And Breslin clears it a little further. Flint on the edge of the box! Tash Flint almost with a second.
Wow, don't think that was too far wide either. That's two really good chances Tampa Bay have had in the last few minutes. This was the whole thing about if you're Brooklyn, get the ball down the other side of the pitch. That clearance was just cleared like 5 or 6 yards only. Just boot it down the pitch. You don't want to go to Tash Flint, and in the end, Niku Purcell scrambling across the goal to make sure that didn't sneak in.
Keane tried to settle it. Was beaten by a big tackle out the back from Brooklyn FC. Final 2 minutes or so remaining from Maimonides Park. Bissett hangs the ball. It will drop for Flint. And there she has it. Tash Flint with a brace. Brooklyn hearts break. But Tampa Bay Sun cannot believe they've done it again.
Now these long high balls, this Route 1 football has worked in the last 10 minutes. And you expected it to come from Tash Flint. She's been threatening. She had a shot just flashed wide. You've got to clear these balls defensively, and the best way is to actually stop the ball coming in, which they didn't. It's a good ball into a difficult space, not cleared there by Alison Pantuso and company when it comes in. And then Tash Flint's not going to miss again. She hit the crossbar earlier in the second half. This time she buries that one. And give Tampa Bay Sun credit. They have fought their way back in superbly well.
Tash Flint, the player of the moment right now. Unbelievable form. What can Brooklyn do? Time running out, just 2 minutes away. When they conceded that goal, 2 minutes away from their first victory here at Maimonides Park since making it their new home. Threaded ball. Fleur. Zaid. Looping ball towards the back post. Goins keeps it in. Another big launch ball forward. Route 1 football, and it's headed by Tash Flint, who was on a hat trick, just a little too delicately.
I thought she was going to head it to one of the yellow shirts just near her on the side, but look at Tampa Bay Sun pushing forward. Brooklyn are just, they were in control of this match for most of the game, and at the end we said, you know, try and play in the opponent's half, try and push them there, don't get pegged back, but they have been pegged back. Credit Tampa Bay Sun. And now if you're going to pick a winner, you think Tampa Bay Sun are the most likely to get a goal.
We are at the referee's discretion for the final whistle now. Schneider. Ball headed back down the middle of the park. Volleyed clear. Yapel trying to carve out one last opportunity from the throw-in. Yapel throws it in, it's easily cleared, but then recovered, and a painful one will set up a free kick. No, it will not. It will be the final whistle. Hearts break for Brooklyn, but Tampa Bay Sun resiliently able to claw it back 2 times. Final score from Maimonides Park, Brooklyn 2, Tampa Bay Sun 2. Gary Bailey, your thoughts?
Tough one for Brooklyn. That's now 7 games since the spring season started, and they haven't managed to put a win together. They've conceded 15 goals in that time, although they've scored 4, half of them today. So this doesn't make happy reading, and yet they're 1 point clear at the top of the table. So you can look at it from either point of view, and I'm sure Jess Silver will try and say, guys, you played well, it just didn't happen on the day, we're still top of the table, let's take the positives, let's move on to the next 2 away games. Tampa Bay Sun, great fight back. Route 1 football at the end, but it works, especially when you have someone like Tash Flint leading your line.
What a fascinating 90 minutes from Maimonides Park. Wow, we're going to get into the final thoughts after this quick break, but your final score, Brooklyn FC 2, Tampa Bay Sun 2. Make sure you're sticking with us here on Peacock. Welcome back to Maimonides Park. Brooklyn FC 2, Tampa Bay Sun 2. A heartbreaking draw in the end for Brooklyn FC, who are moments away. Jessica Charm and Gary Bailey, let's take a look at our full-time highlights. And Gary Bailey, Brooklyn FC set the tone early on.
They were fabulous early on, especially Mackenzie George on this right-hand side. Beats Jackie Simpson, puts a ball in, Page doesn't clear it, and Grace Philpotts pounces on it and puts the team 1-0 ahead. And Mackenzie George had a shot saved by Sydney Schneider as well. It could have been 2 or even 3. That's how well Brooklyn FC played early in the game.
Brooklyn FC, though, would see an old enemy haunt them, and that was not finishing chances and putting games to bed. Tampa Bay Sun with an equalizer in the first half.
Yeah, only shot on target, it falls to Tash Flint, and what a finish. Leaning backwards slightly, she absolutely thumps us into the corner, and Brooklyn can't believe after dominating the first half, they go in at 1-1.
We'll remember that name, Tash Flint, because it's going to come back a little later. But first, Brooklyn FC with another bright start to a half. Second half started well as well.
Yeah, nice flick on here, Grace Philpotts. First time ball. This is the key before anybody can pick up Salma Amani. The ball's played into Salma's run, and she taps it into the back of the net to put her team 2-1 up, and what seemed like on the way to victory with a fantastic celebration.
It was all fun and games, but the last-minute goal would haunt them. Viv Bissett putting in a goal, a cross.
A cross that wasn't clear. Tash Flynn pounces on it. Could they have stopped the ball coming in initially? Could they have dealt with the cross better? All those questions will be asked in the end. Once they didn't, Tash Flynn punished them.
Elation for the visitors, heartbreak for the home side. Here's the numbers and the stats, and you can see here pretty much as even as it comes on the shot lines.
Yes, certainly the second half, they came back much more forcefully, Tampa Bay Sun. They really struggled to create opportunities in the first half. XG is still in favor of the home side, 1.47 to 0.78, but Tampa Bay very direct, and they fought really hard to get back on level terms.
Well, it has been a roller coaster of a night from Maimonides Park in Coney Island. Brooklyn FC minutes away from their first win at their new home, but it was just not meant to be. Tash Flint, the hero for Tampa Bay Sun, with a brace. Final score, 2-2. For my broadcast partner Gary Bailey, Jessica Charman, thank you for watching USL Super League.